This is the Mill Hill Building Committee meeting on Tuesday, July 13th, 2021 at 6 p.m. And we're going to start with opening by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Sal.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Second on the agenda, approval of meeting minutes from 6:08 and 6:30. If I'm not mistaken, those have already been posted, correct?
I pulled them off the website, so they've been up there.
Yep, they're up under draft minutes.
So we don't need an approval, do we?
No, you do.
Okay.
You can ask for amendments, and then hearing none, they're accepted as written.
Okay. Are there any changes that would be needed to the 6:08 and 6:30 meeting minutes? Seeing none, I ask for a vote to approve the meeting minutes of 6:08 and 6:30. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstention. All right, those have been approved. Agenda item number 3, project update.
Yep, thanks, Jason.
Yep.
So I'll try to keep it concise, but we do have a lot going on site right now. So basically starting outside, in the front of the school, we've at this point ripped up the old bus turnaround. We've actually completed all the sidewalks required at the front of the school for the new bus turnaround. And we're going to be starting on the inner part of that turnaround, which is a concrete curb, and then there's pavers in the center. So we're going to be transitioning to that later this week and next week. There's a big storm drainage structure with concrete galleys down kind of by where the library is in my trailer. We'll be starting on that towards the end of this week and next week as well. And then at that point, we're going to be kind of in a decent shape where we'll start basing out and getting the front area ready for paving and up to the final grade. As you move down the hill towards where the baseball field is, so we've put in the drainage structures under that new parking area, and we're transitioning over now where we're starting the parent drop-off loops. So today we basically ripped up the asphalt in the old sidewalks, and over the next couple of weeks we'll be finishing up our flat work, our concrete sidewalks in that area and getting that all laid out and regraded. Then what we'll end up doing is basically taking all our trade parking that's in front of the school right now, and by next week we'll be transitioning that to where they're going to be parking down on the lower parking lot so we can do finish up our drainage in front and just open that area up a little more. On the roof, so we have been battling rain and weather for the last little week or two, and then also we've been battling some material delivery items. But I'm happy to report, as of today, we have all the roofing material on site. So if you do drive by the site, on the front lawn by where the Mill Hill School sign is, there's basically a bunch of insulation and material for the roof that's required stored on the lawn right now, and then there's more by my trailer. That's all the material left to finish the roof replacement. As far as actual progress, right now we're down to the start of the admin area, so going from the 90s wing and music wing down that section of existing classrooms down to where the admin area is all replaced. And over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be pushing down and finishing up by the gym and the library. Weather dependent, so hopefully the weather that looks to be improving at the end of this week and into next week continues, because basically we can't, if there's any chance for rain in the afternoon, it kind of stops us from really doing any roofing, because we don't want to get caught with the roof opened up and taking water inside the school. Moving to the interior, so down at the 90s wing in the C wing, which is the area of classrooms we started in the late April, we're basically finishing up flooring. So the 90s wing, we're going to be working on actually starting flooring. So we're going to be working over this weekend and into next week doing the moisture mitigation change order that was approved, and then starting to put the actual new floors in that area along with the corridors. We're also working on the radiators and the last of the plumbing. So there are new bathrooms over in that area. So we have all the plumbing roughed in, and we're going to be framing out those bathrooms and then transitioning into ceilings by the end of the month. C, we're basically working on, so the section between music and admin, we're basically working on millwork at this time. So next week we'll be into all the millwork in those classrooms and then just trying to finish up with all the finishes and get those kind of in really good shape by the end of July. It's sort of similar to admin, where we'll transition into admin with the flooring and the millwork late July as well. Kind of get both of those areas in really good shape in the next 3 weeks. Moving down to library and the gym. So actually we'll keep going down and we'll stop at kitchen and cafeteria. So cafeteria, all the demo is done, so that old stage is all ripped out, and we're actually putting new ductwork in the cafeteria. So once the ductwork's done, we'll start painting that because we paint the ceiling and the new ductwork installed. We also have new drywall and framing along the walls, so that'll start next week. In the kitchen, we've replaced the slab, meaning so we were able to go through, demo the old kitchen, put all the new underground plumbing in, and we put in new slabs. So our next steps there are going to be putting in the flooring and then transitioning to kind of working on the overhead roof, putting in the new kitchen hood for the next 3 weeks. So there'll be a lot of activity in there, and we'll probably be working weekends and maybe even Sunday in that kitchen area. They're framing the outside of the old cooler and freezer addition. So that's actually getting framed up, and we're going to be doing the brick on that next week. So that'll be our last addition. Exterior wall and brickwork that we have to complete. Down in the library and gym area. So library, we have a fairly significant change where we blow out the CMU wall to connect into the new computer lab. We actually have to add steel. So we're expecting that steel to show up, if not the end of next week, the following week, and that'll allow us to go through and kind of really get into that area and be able to install the new glass hollow metal frame wall. But as far as the library, the ductwork is complete, and we're just trying to get the overhead roof with the electrical and the units on the roof there as we work with the roofers. And then gym is the same thing. So our spiral duct for the new gym, that's showing up before the end of the week. And as they finish up in the cafeteria, by next week they'll be putting the ductwork up in the gym. So kind of a lot of action, a lot of areas under construction. So what I'll try to do is actually get a one of those weekly updates out this week, and maybe a drone photo just to show all the action going on site. But basically every week that ends up changing and being updated. So,
any questions? Rob,
that's great, Ron.
Rob, can you update us on the fill pile?
Yep. So Cisco, who is the remediation contractor, came in. They removed the majority of the soil with Ty and Bond overseeing their work, who Ty Bond works directly for the town. We found out today that there was another truckload or two of material that Cisco has to take out. So we're expecting them to take that out before the end of this week, and then Ty and Bond and Cisco should be complete on site in the back.
And there's no issue with that material with the heavy rains this past last week and this coming week?
No. So the material that they're taking is on the back side. So there's a mound, if you were to walk the site, with some ledge. under where the old sidewalk was. This was on the back side of that mound towards the playground. And so it was really just undisturbed and had nothing, no issue with the rain.
Okay. Any questions from the building committee? All right. Thanks, Rob. Agenda item number 4, approval of invoices. Mark?
Okay, there's a bunch of them. Sent this out on Saturday morning. The total is for $1,404,002.83. It breaks down with Gilbane's invoice 18 of $996,815.04, and that is through work at the end of June. They, per the percentages for the trade work, they're at 67% complete, so that's 2/3, and then overall they're at 65% complete as far as their billing. Then there's 2 Silver Petrocelli's invoices for their services for May and June. The June one, or the May one, is for $46,632.04, and for June it's $30,643.52. Collier's Project Leaders is for $14,836.42. Rusty Kiln, which was the moving of the existing kiln to the new kiln room in the new addition, was $410. That came in under their proposal. They didn't spend as much time as they allotted for. Van Zoom is for the commissioning only of $1,286. HB Communications is for the deinstalls of Area F and basically the rest of the building. They deinstalled, but they got out of Gilbane's way at the beginning of the summer. So this is their billing for that. They did come back in June and or late June, and they took more boards down in Area I. They had the time, and we offered it to them, so they took it. So all the smart boards and projectors are down at this point, and they'll just need to come back and reinstall in August. Best Tech is for their work up through the end of June of $274,522.45. TestCon is for $3,108, and then there's 3 UI bills. They finally got to us, so these are for $838.23, $561.62, and $618.01. And then WB Myers, this is basically the move out of the building, the packing of the LMC, all the books in the LMC, and basically moving the whole building out into trailers and elsewhere and into finished space. This is essentially a 9-day total of $28,685.50.
At this time, I'd like a motion to open it up for questions and votes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion,
This is
Melanie.
Jeremy.
Second by Jeremy.
Yep.
Do we have any questions for Mark?
One question, Mark. This is Jeremy.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. How do we get to this amount with Best Tech? Trying to just understand how we get to that amount.
This is Best Tech is off state contract, so basically all their abatement is a list price for large containment is X amount of dollars in this. So they basically it's basically T&M off state contract.
Okay.
And they submit
whatever rates are agreed to. Yes,
and they submit tickets for the work performed. And I just got them today, and I can put them up in the folder for anybody to see of what accounts for this amount.
Okay. I mean, I trust you. It's just obviously a big number, so just trying to understand.
Are there any other questions for Mark? Any other questions? Seeing none, I'd like to put to a vote the approval of the invoices. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the invoice has been approved. Just real quick on the agenda number 6, I'd like to table that because the executive session, I was thinking we were going to be face-to-face. Obviously, we are not. I think the information is too sensitive to be on an open line. Not that I don't trust you, but we don't know who's actually listening on the other end, if it's on speaker or whatever. So I'd like to table that item, agenda number 6, for the windows of ATP. What we're going to do is I will probably hold a special meeting just for the executive session on site. So it'll be twofold. Also, we can see the school project and also discuss face-to-face what needs to be discussed. It shouldn't be that long. So I'm going to table that. Getting back to agenda item 5, approval of the ATPs. Mark?
Yep. There's only one. I submitted 2, but one we would go into executive session for, which is the music wing and kindergarten hopper window. That'll be done in executive session. That leaves the Smith boiler replacement for $88,788. I also attached the initial photos of the boiler into the folder that shows all the mill scale and rust within it. It was pretty well closed off. But this is the existing boiler that it was to be reused, but when they checked on it, that was the condition that we found it in. Unfortunately, this is change order work, and it's not a bid project or bid change order, but they did revise their number down from their initial by, I believe, $8,000 to this number. It's for buying a new boiler that fits the current configuration of the school, and the labor to remove the existing and rig in the new one and hook it up.
Are you all set? I'd like to make a motion to open for discussion and voting for the approval of ATP for the boilers. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Melanie.
Do I have a second?
Seconded, Heather.
Heather. Questions for Mark or David, I believe, also can answer questions on the boiler. I have 2 questions. There was a question about the man hours. Mark, can you explain the man hours, please? I believe it's 400, correct?
It's 425 hours of fitter time, which is the journeyman worker. Half of that is to rig the existing boiler out, which is 100 hours, which is 5 guys for 4 days. 5 guys, 2.5 days. And then to rig it in is another 100 hours to rig it back in. So those same 5 guys or 4 guys, 2.5 days to rig the existing boiler in or the new boiler in. So the half the hours is just to get the old one out and the new one in before they can do any work. And they did their initial proposal was for about 50 more hours of fitter time. So that's where the price dropped.
Okay.
From there.
Any questions? More questions for Mark? I do have a question about reimbursement. I know we touched about it. David and Sal, is this potentially reimbursable from the state or no?
I could take it. Boiler replacements are usually an ineligible item. As part of high performance, we could make that argument commensurate as part of that, but they consider boilers as part of a normal maintenance plan, so that has to be presented to the state. But since we're fully upgrading the building as far as all its mechanicals and such, I think we would argue it's beyond maintenance at that point, that this was part of the high performance piece that we're doing.
Okay, so we are going to at least try and submit it for reimbursement.
Yes.
Yes, and then when it goes through its audit, we'll see where it lands. That's one approach.
Okay. Any other questions from members of the building? Go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry.
Just a question. Where does this leave us with the contingency, presuming it's not reimbursable?
Well, they're kind of separate items. The contingency is approximately $300,000 left in the contingency with this encumbered, obviously. The reimbursement comes after the fact, after we submit it to the state. So, and it goes back into they reimburse the town, it doesn't reimburse the project.
Okay.
So it has no effect on it.
Okay. So we still have about $300,000 in the contingency.
Correct.
Either way.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, and you're reimbursed. The reimbursement goes towards that total value. So it's what your current percentage rate would be right now, which, if I recall, are we somewhere around 25%?
Yeah, that's a safe number to use.
So it's roughly 25% of the total value that you may receive. So it's not the entire amount. It's only 25. It would only be 25% of that. I say only. I don't mean insignificantly, but that's what it's referred to.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I am asking for a vote for approval of the ATP in reference of the boilers. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Abstentions? I have it. It's the ATP for the boilers have been approved. And as discussed, we are going to table the executive session to discuss the window ATP at a time and date to be determined. So agenda number 7, approval of the OCO 13 and OCO 14. Mark?
Yep. OCO 13 includes ATPs 81, which is the unsuitable soil at the platform area, ATP 97, which was the staff room A109 water line, ATP 93 was the berm next to the parking lot, which we covered back in June, ATP 92, which was premium time for the roofer to work on Saturday during school. That was the only time they can do the roof when the kids are not in. ATP 95 was for the existing bluestone in the lobby. This is for the underlayment for the VCT in this area. It was exceptionally deep, about 2 to 3 inches. So they came in and floated that out so that you could set the floor. ATP 104, which is a credit, which is an existing beam in the existing kitchen. There was structural work planned for that, but what the existing conditions allowed that work did not have to take place. ATP 103, which is a $0 change order. It was just getting the change in the contract with the subcontractor and us. ATP 106, which was for door 101.2 modification. It had to be relocated due to an existing column. And then Jason, do you want to do them separately, or should we go both at the same time?
Let's do them both at the same time.
Okay. Owner change order 14 is for ATP 51, which is a credit for tree replacement per the landscape architect's field report. Basically, he deleted reusing like 3 trees, and they planted 2 new ones. 2 new ones. ATP 88, which was to bring power to the projectors and music. ATP 90, which was the adjustment of the marker boards and tack boards in the music and kindergarten wings. ATP 99, which we covered last week, which was the existing IDF closets and punch downs. ATP 100, which is the water supply for rooms A110, A107, and A109. ATP 105, which was additional brick work that was required around the stage and platform area. 109, interior window trim in the classrooms. A110, which was door hardware on A154 and A155, and then ATP 118, which is a replacement, a window replacement in the computer lab that inadvertently got demoed out. But we do have an ATP out there that we were going to replace it anyways as part of an upgrade for the windows. So, but this one came quicker because it was demoed out inadvertently by the demo contractor. And the total for owner change order 13 is $47,217, and owner change order 14 is $79,066. At the end of change order 14, Gilbane's contract adjusted is $18,995,829.09.
At this time, I'd like to have a motion to open for discussion and vote. Do I have a motion?
Yep, motion, Heather.
Do I have a second?
Melanie.
This is Jeremy. I'll second.
Melanie is second. Any questions on OCO 13 for Mark? We'll break it down that way. Any questions for Mark on OCO 13? And any questions on the OCO 14 then for Mark? Okay. I'm assuming everything will be lined up within budget, correct?
Correct.
Right. Any other questions? Any questions? All right. I'd like to call to a vote. All in favor of approval of OCO 13, say aye.
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 All opposed? Abstentions? Approval OCO 13. I'd like to have a vote for OCO 14. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All abstentions? Okay, all approved for OCO 14. Real quick, any new business? Any other members of the building committee besides Jason, Lee, Melanie, Jeremy, and Heather are on the call? Anyone else jump on late? All right. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 27th of this month. However, I really ask Gil Bain and everyone to see if we can get everything done by this meeting. So there's a strong possibility we'll be canceling the 27th meeting, and we'll meet again in August, I think the first or second week of August, and we'll pick up there. We will do an executive session as soon as I can figure out a location that's approved by the town, and I'll let you guys know. Any new business, any questions from the building committee? Hearing none. On behalf of Harry Ackley, do I have a motion to adjourn?
On behalf of Harry, here's a motion from Jeremy.
Jeremy. All in favor for adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? I didn't think so. All right. This meeting has been adjourned. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. I know.
Bye.